Hello, my name is Michelle, and I want to tell you my story on how I found out that I have breast cancer. Now, before I found out I had breast cancer, I had suffered what they call a mini stroke back in February of 2021 this year. And when I found that I had a mini stroke, they called that a TIA. And I was in and out of the hospital for a period of time from February through August. But I was admitted into the hospital twice because of it. And, they couldn't tell, what was happening to me at first. So over a period of time, I was just in and out of the emergency room. And so in the end, they gave me certain medications that I would have to take for the rest of my life. And so it still, wasn't clear to me what brought about the stroke. I'm pretty sure they told me, but I just needed to understand more because I had never been sick like this before. And the only thing that I've ever been through was colds, flus, fever, things of that nature. And then I wind up having, they discharged me. They said I was okay after a period of time. And then when September came about, I told them that I wanted to have a well woman's checkup and I wanted to get my yearly mammogram done to make sure that everything else in my body was okay. So after getting the well woman checkup, everything was fine. Then it was time for me to have my mammogram done. And after having the mammogram done, I had a call from the doctor saying that they wanted me to come back in to get another mammogram done because they found a discrepancy in the test results and they wanted to take a closer look at it. So when I went in to the doctor to, do the second mammogram, they told me that if they saw that same, spot in that mammogram, they wanted to do a sonogram to take a closer look. And if their suspicion was, what they thought it could be, which was cancer, they wanted to do a biopsy on my left breast. And once they did the biopsy on my left breast, they did find that it was cancer. And so they said that they wanted me to have an MRI done. And so when I went to do the MRI, this was MRI on your breast. It's not like the regular MRI where you sit down on your back and they insert you in a tube-like thing. They lay you on your stomach and have your breast to insert into these two tubes. And then they have you with your face down. And then they insert you into that tube. And they do that same process what they do with the regular MRI, but this time it's laying down on the stomach. So they do that process for about 20-30 minutes, something like that, and then they bring you out. And so the doctor talked with me about those test results, and they found that not only did I have cancer in my left breast, but now they wanted to take a closer look at my right breast also. So I went through the same process, getting a sonogram done and getting a biopsy done on my right breast. And they found that I had cancer in both my breasts. And I was told that I had cancer in both my breasts. We set out a plan in that I was going to speak with the oncologist and go from there. So before it was time for me to speak with the oncologist, I had time enough to think. And it was like, okay, I have cancer. And the first thing I thought of is that I'm going to die. So I kept saying, okay, whatever God's will is, and I just have to accept what God's will was for my life. And I didn't tell my family anything yet because I wanted to go to the oncologist and talk with the oncologist about the next steps that we were going to take. But in the meantime, I was numb. I was like already been a recluse because of coronavirus. But now I was even more of a recluse because now I'm sick and I didn't want to be around other people because I didn't want to catch coronavirus because I had an illness, would probably make me susceptible to getting coronavirus. So I was depressed. So it was time to go to speak with the oncologist about the next step that we were going to take. And in speaking with the oncologist, the doctor came in and talked with me about what the steps that we can take, the next steps that we're going to take. So he told me that the different types of mastectomies are, the different things that were available outside of having a mastectomy, because I didn't have to have a mastectomy. They could just go in and take out the cancer cells from that area and, leave my breast there. But in my mind, I was thinking that what if they go in and, insert the needle in and take out the cancer cells, but what if while they were taking that needle out, that drippings of the cancer probably spread in other parts of my breast. That was in my mind. But then I start thinking, well, what if the cancer comes back and, I have to go through this process all over again because, biopsies are not that comfortable, but it's bearable, but I didn't want to go through it again. So my choice was to have a mastectomy done, and the mastectomy would be done on both breasts. And I was very clear, I was very adamant in speaking with the doctors what it was that I wanted to do. And I asked them, well, if I did have the mastectomy done on both breasts, is it possible that I could have reconstructive surgery on my breast? And they told me that I would be able to have reconstructive surgery on my breast. So the doctor set up for me to speak with the plastic surgeon. And in speaking with the plastic surgeon, they went through the process of measuring my breast, taking pictures of, before pictures and all this kind of stuff. But I also think those pictures were for them so that they can see, where they could take the fatty tissues from, because I chose to have a mastectomy done where the tissue from my abdomen would be taken from my abdomen and formed for breast tissue. So now, in the meantime, I received in the mail a pamphlet from my oncologist. The nurse had sent me out some pamphlets, and they started, detailing about the mammogram and, talking about the process for the reconstructive surgery. And I had a panic attack. It was there in black and white for me to see what was getting ready to happen to me. They were getting ready to remove my breast. I would have to, without breasts for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, for a certain amount of healing, or to see if I needed to have radiation done. And when I read this material, and I had a panic attack, and so I called and spoke with a nurse on the phone, and she spoke with me for about an hour and a half on the phone, calming me down because I was crying. I was, having my little panic attack and everything. And so by the time that, I was able to calm down, I was clear on what was happening. And I was able to regain my composure, and I was able to say, okay, I can do this. Okay?